Welcome in for the latest installment of the Fantasy 4. Exciting episode here today as we start off giving you our running back rankings. Now, this episode will be standard scoring, so we'll start with 12 through 7, and the next episode will be 6 through 1. Next episode coming at you, a couple down the road, we'll do PPR for you guys. So getting it started right now, first of all, let me just say, go ahead, hit the like button. Also, make sure you hit the comment section. Let us know what you think. Did you agree? Did you disagree? What would you guys like to see as we get you set for this 2020 season? So with that being said, let's get this thing started. I'll lead off here with my 12 through 7. Starting at number 12, got that man from Oklahoma. Starting in Cincinnati, we got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had 190 fantasy points last year. That was good for 11th on the season. He averaged 12 fantasy points per game. He played across all 16 games. I like his production to go up this year. He's getting Joe Burrow in there at quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks love to use the running back. Joe Mixon can catch it out of the backfield. He's a between the tackles runner. He can do it all for you. He will get good production this year. I like Joe Mixon at 12. At 11, I have Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs had 172 fantasy points last year. That was good for 14, but he had 13 fantasy points per game. That was good for 9th last year. Now, his points were down a little bit overall because he only played in 13 games, but we all know John Gruden likes to use the running back a lot, so I like Josh Jacobs at 11. At number 10, I have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb went early in drafts a lot last year, underperformed a little bit, had 219 fantasy points though. That was actually good for 6th on the season. He had 13.7 fantasy points per game. That was good for 7th on the year. And most importantly, he played in 16 games. So I like Nick Chubb, though, to take a step back. Not really based on what he did last year. Obviously, as I mentioned, he finished 7th. But the reason why I have him at 10 is because I just feel that this is a deeper running back class. And you'll see as my rankings continue on. At number 9, I have Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara was taken high last year in a lot of drafts, and for good reason. Played very well next to Mark Ingram, but last year when he was carrying a lot of the load, his body broke down a little bit. He had some injury concerns. He played in 14 games, but he played banged up last year. Finished with 167 fantasy points. That was 16th. Let me say that again. That was 16th last year amongst running backs, and he only averaged 12 fantasy points per game. So that was only good for 14th on the year. So kind of a down year for Alvin. I'd like to see him bounce back a bit this year. That's why I have him at 9. At number 8, might seem like a stretch for a lot of you guys, but I'm telling you right now, this guy is gold. At number 8, I have Kenyan Drake. Kenyan Drake last year, since coming over in week 9 to the Cardinals, so just looking at his production from week 9 on in the Cardinals system, he was the 4th best fantasy running back last year, and the Cardinals liked him enough to move on from David Johnson and to not draft a running back in this class. So that means they are all in on Kenyan Drake. I can see why. He catches it out of the backfield, runs it, great all-around player. I like him a lot this year. I have Kenyan Drake at number 8. At number 7, I have Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler last year finished as the 7th best fantasy running back. He averaged 13.6 fantasy points per game. That's good for 8th on the year. And this is going to sound crazy. Oh my gosh, why Austin Ekeler? It's his backfield now. Melvin Gordon is gone. Look at the production Austin Ekeler put up last year before Melvin Gordon came back. My goodness, this guy was balling out. He's got a rookie quarterback. Justin Herbert's going to do a lot of checkdowns. I'm telling you, I like Austin Ekeler a lot. And in PPR, he might be a little higher up on my rankings, but you got to wait for the PPR show for that one. We're going to kick over to you already know who it is. The one, the only, the Little Rocket Man. Feeling a little fishy today. Little Rocket Man, tell us your 12 through 6.
What's up? I'm the Sicilian gonna help you make $1 million, baby. Come on, you want to see my top 12 running backs? We got at 12, Miles Sanders. This guy came out of nowhere towards the end of the year last year. There's no other running back on that team. That is definitely a top 12 running back this year. At number 11, I got Kenyan Drake. Like Eric said, he kind of came in, lit the league on fire. He's perfect for that system. I think he's going to have another good year. Didn't quite make the top 12, but he's going to be on number 11 on my board. Josh Jacobs comes in at number 10. So number 10 starts my tier 3. Like I told you last episode, I go by a tier system, and the top 10 is the end of my tier 3. So Josh Jacobs, he had a monster rookie season. He had over 1,000 yards as a rookie running back, and they got some speed. They got Henry Ruggs. That's going to open up more lanes for him. So he's going to have another good year. Number 9, I got Aaron Jones. You know, he's definitely a risky running back. He gets hurt a lot. Last year, he played all 16 games, okay? He had 16 rushing touchdowns. 16 rushing touchdowns. I don't care who they drafted. That guy knows how to score touchdowns. He also had 3 receiving touchdowns last year. Aaron Jones is a baller if he can stay on the field. So he's definitely a top 10 running back. And number 8, I got Alvin Kamara. Okay, this guy is a monster. He can do it all. He can catch, he can run, he can juke, he can spin, he can dive, he can slide, he can call you. He can do whatever you think he can do. He's going to do for you. His problem last year, he was playing hurt all year, but he still stayed in the game, okay? Number 7, I got Joe Mixon. We got a new quarterback. This guy had the best season in NCAA history for any quarterback. He's coming in. He's got A.J. Green, who's supposed to be healthy. We'll see how that goes. He's got John Ross, if he can stay healthy, but he can take the top off the defenses too. That's my 12 through 6 right there. Please take it. Make some money with it.
So, last but certainly not least, the Drunken Dolphin, John Saracco. What is your 12 through 7?
All right, so let's start off at number 12, Aaron Jones. Yeah, he might have been a top 3, top 4 back last year, depending on what your scoring system was. The fact of the matter is, Joey hit it right on the head. He's got a shiny new toy in his backfield. Aaron Jones made his living scoring touchdowns last year. This guy, this shiny new toy, is a 6'2", 250-pound touchdown stealing machine, and that's going to affect Aaron Jones' fantasy stock highly. And this kid's going to come in and score touchdowns from day one, and it's going to bump Mr. Aaron Jones to the back of the top 12. Number 11. Okay, I mean, yeah, Chris Carson, the guy, he's going to get the football, and this guy's going to get 250 carries. And, the last couple of years, he's 1,150 yards. Last year, 1,230 yards. He's going to get you close to 10 touchdowns on the ground, and he's going to catch 30 passes. He's going to catch you 300 yards. He's a top 12 back in fantasy football. Pete Carroll is going to dedicate getting him the football. Number 10, Joe Mixon. All right. They're going to rely heavily on Joe Mixon this year, I think, in Cincinnati, because I don't think they're going to try to get their young quarterback killed. Their offensive line's not the greatest in the National Football League. Joe Mixon's done it. Back-to-back years, over 1,100 yards. You give this guy the football 240, 250 times, he's going to get you 1,100 yards. He's going to be able to score the football if you get him inside the red zone. This guy's primed for a pretty big season as the future back there in Cincinnati. They're going to let Joe Burrow sling it, but I definitely think they're going to rely on Joe Mixon to move that offense all year long. Number 9, cracked my top 10, Florida State boy Dalvin Cook. 3 years in the league. The first year he played 4 games. Second year, he played 10 games. Last year, he played 14 games. If he's able to play 16 games, he's going to have a monster year. They lost Stephon Diggs, who Little Rocket Man likes to dub as a Ferrari, okay? But if Dalvin Cook will play 16 games, which I highly doubt because he's not been able to do it yet, he's going to have a monster year. He's going to put up 1,200 yards, but I see him playing 10 games. He's not going to be a viable fantasy running back if you're drafting him from day one and trying to rely on your fantasy football team. Todd Gurley. They are going to make it a point to get this guy the football and get his career back on track. For whatever reason, or Sean McVay didn't want to give him the football the last couple of years. Blame it on injuries, blame it on schematics, whatever you want to blame it on. But I can assure you, Dan Quinn's going to give Todd Gurley the football. And if Todd Gurley's even close to being 100% healthy, he's going to absolutely shred the NFC South and whoever else gets in his way this year. I love Todd Gurley. He's probably going to have a better season than where I have him ranked at, but Todd Gurley's going back to Todd Gurley for him this year. I mark my words on this. And if you want to steal, whether it's daily fantasy football, he's going to be a pretty cheap player. If you want to get this guy probably low to mid rounds in your standard draft, take him. I promise you, take him. Number 7, Josh Jacobs. This guy had a great rookie year, going over 1,100 yards. Had 7 touchdowns on the ground as well, okay? He can catch the football a little bit. John Gruden has himself probably a top 5 player this year. You know, he's got to show me before I actually put him in my top 5, but I would not be surprised if Josh Jacobs is a top 5 fantasy football running back in John Gruden's offense this year. Derek Carr, he can't beat a defense by himself. They need this guy. He's the best player on that offense, and they're going to make it a point to make him the focal point of the offense. So Josh Jacobs coming in, Drunken Dolphins, number 7 running back fantasy football this year.
Hold on. We got some breaking news popping in right here. I see a breadcrumb of Skittles coming because Marshawn Lynch looks like he's heading back to Seattle. Chris Carson, you can throw him right out of your board.
Heavy viewpoints there on Chris Carson.
And Joey, let me weigh in on your Miles Sanders, because you said there's no one else in that backfield. All you got to do is watch out for number 9, Adrian Killins, will be the feature back in Philadelphia.
You got to make the squad first, bro. This is a top 12 pre-training camp.
I will say this, since you did bring up Adrian Killins. The Eagles lost Darren Sproles. He's retired. I like Killins to fill into that void. It could be a sneaky third down back. Keep an eye on him late in the draft. I like Adrian Killins. So I got to agree with the Drunken Dolphin on that one, especially in the PPR side. I like Killins a lot. Got to show some love there to Daytona Beach, Florida. So now, kicking it over to Tucson. What is you say you had a 12 through 7 for us? Talk to us.
Bro. Let me just start here, okay? Number 12, the man, the myth, the legend, Leonard Fournette. Who are you guys? Like, what planet are people on? 1,700 yards last season, 3 touchdowns. I know the touchdowns was a problem, but here's the thing. 1,700 yards, we're going to run his ass into the ground because he's not going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar after this year. So let me tell you what happens in fantasy when you run somebody into the ground. Do you remember Le'Veon Bell the one year they ran him into the ground? That's fantasy championships. There's 12. Number 11, Todd Gurley. How can you not like Todd Gurley in the Atlanta system? Devontae Freeman has won me 2 championships from the Atlanta system. Todd Gurley, I love what he's going to represent there in Atlanta. Number 10, Kenyan Drake out of Arizona. Let me say this real quick. No running back has ever done what Kenyan Drake did in Arizona. I love the system they're playing in. It's a high potent offense system. He's going to get it done. Number 9, Josh Jacobs. I love Josh Jacobs. Just like Eric said, StatQuo got it right. Gruden does one thing great. Run the ball, play defense. Run the ball, play defense. And guess what? Number 3, run the ball, play defense. So Josh Jacobs is going to benefit. Number 8, Nick Chubb. You can't deny, just like, Joe was talking, 1,500 yards, 2019. The Browns are known to run the ball. I believe he's going to be the first down back, and I believe Kareem Hunt's going to be the passing back. So they got a real good thing going there. Number 7, Aaron Jones. So anybody who watched the draft this season can tell you one thing about the Packers. Listen, one thing that will help you out in fantasy, don't listen to people, watch what they do. And what did the Packers do? They said, we want to run the ball. Why do you think Aaron Rodgers is so butthurt? Because they want to run the ball. So what are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. And you really think this new running back's just going to come in there and take the carries from Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams? Those two were like Batman and Robin. I hope you enjoy that. That's my 12 through 7. Get you some money, get you some kitchen, get you some whiskey, get you some wins, baby.
Oh, man. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of our 12 through 7. So make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the comment section, and make sure you subscribe so we can bring you more fantasy tips the rest of the season leading into your fantasy football season. So get set for our next episode coming up as we get through running backs 6 through 1. So everybody raise your glasses, take yourselves off mute.
Show, baby. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me, brother. Baby. Appreciate you.
Fantasy 4 out.